When my husband ran off with my sister, it felt like the ground disappeared beneath my feet. My world broke into pieces that day. I lost my family, my dignity, and every dream I had built for years. But what I didn't know was that the same betrayal that destroyed me would one day become the reason I rebuilt myself stronger than ever. This is not just a story of heartbreak. It's a story of revenge, quiet and patient, the kind that doesn't scream or fight but waits for the perfect moment to strike. 15 years later, karma didn't just knock on their door. It paid me back in gold. Back then, I was 28. My name is Hannah, and I was married to a man named Ryan. We had been together for 6 years, and I thought we were perfect. He was charming, successful, and kind, or at least I believed he was. I trusted him completely. My sister Lily was my best friend. She was younger, wild, and beautiful. I used to protect her from trouble, help her with money, and support her when she failed at jobs or relationships. I never imagined she would become the reason my marriage ended. It started with little signs. Ryan began spending more time at work, coming home late. He said he was busy with new clients. I believed him because that's what a loyal wife does. But one evening, I found his phone on the couch while cleaning. A message popped up. It was from Lily. It said, "I can't wait to see you tonight." My heart stopped. For a second, I thought it was a mistake, maybe a joke. But deep down, I knew. I opened the messages, and there it was. A whole thread of conversations. Pictures. Words I had once believed were meant for me. I confronted Ryan that night. He didn't even deny it. He said he had fallen in love with Lily. Just like that, he broke our marriage like it meant nothing. Lily didn't even have the decency to look me in the eye. She packed her things and left with him the next morning. I was left with empty rooms, unpaid bills, and a heart that couldn't beat right. The first few months were hell. I couldn't sleep or eat. My family turned cold toward me because Lily told everyone I was the problem, that Ryan had left me because I was too controlling and bitter. Lies spread like fire. I became the villain in my own story. I lost friends, my job, and my confidence. I was broken. But pain has a strange way of teaching you what strength really means. One day, I looked at myself in the mirror and didn't recognize the woman staring back. She looked tired, hopeless, small. That day I decided no one would ever make me feel small again. I took the last of my savings and enrolled in a design course at a community college. I started working as a waitress during the day and studied at night. It was hard. I cried more nights than I can count. But slowly, I began to rebuild myself. Within a few years, I landed a small job at a fashion startup. I worked harder than anyone else. My designs began to get noticed. I saved every penny, learned every skill I could, and climbed my way up. When the company shut down due to financial trouble, instead of panicking, I used my savings to start my own small brand. I started from my kitchen table, selling handmade bags online. It was slow at first, but I stayed consistent. My designs were unique, simple, and elegant. People loved them. 5 years later, my small idea had turned into a well-known brand. I had a loyal team, investors, and stores in several cities. I became the kind of woman I never thought I could be, independent, confident, and respected. Still, there were nights I thought about them, Ryan and Lily. I had no idea where they were or what they were doing. I had blocked them from my life completely. But karma has its own way of connecting people again when the time is right. It happened. 15 years after they left me, my company was invited to sponsor a charity fashion event in the city where I used to live. I was the guest of honor. Reporters were there, cameras flashing, people asking questions about success and inspiration. And then, while I was talking to one of the organizers, I saw them. Ryan and Lily. They looked nothing like I remembered. Ryan's face was lined with stress, his hair mostly gone, his suit cheap and wrinkled. Lily looked tired and older, her once bright smile gone. They were standing at the back of the hall, watching me on stage. At that moment, I felt something inside me settle. I didn't feel anger anymore. I felt power. They looked like ghosts from a past I had already buried. After the event, Lily approached me hesitantly. Her voice was small, almost trembling. She said, "Hannah, it's been so long. You look amazing." I smiled politely. Ryan didn't even meet my eyes. He looked ashamed, like he wanted to disappear. I asked them how they were doing, and that's when the truth spilled out. They had lost everything. The company Ryan worked for went bankrupt. They had tried to start their own business, but it failed. They were in debt. They had no children, no home, and were barely surviving. I listened quietly, pretending to be sympathetic. Lily said she wished she could start over. She said she missed me, that she regretted everything. Ryan just stood there, silent. Then Lily asked something that made my heart race. She said, "Hannah, you've done so well. Maybe you could help us a little. Just until we get back on our feet." For a second, I wanted to laugh. The woman who stole my husband was now asking me for help. Karma couldn't have written it better. I looked her straight in the eyes and said, "I'm sorry, Lily, but I don't think I can. You see, I learned a long time ago that helping people who once destroyed you is like giving poison to your own peace." She didn't say anything after that. Her face went pale, and I walked away. That was the last time I saw them. Later that night, when I returned to my hotel room, I sat by the window and thought about everything. 15 years ago, I was the woman left behind, broken. Now, I was the woman who had everything they wanted. But what truly satisfied me wasn't their downfall. It was knowing that I didn't let their betrayal destroy me. I had built a life without bitterness, without revenge in the cruel sense. My revenge was my success. A few weeks later, I heard through an old friend that Ryan had left Lily. Apparently, he ran off again with another woman, much younger this time. Lily was left alone, struggling. Part of me felt sorry for her, but another part thought maybe she finally understood what it felt like to lose everything to betrayal. That's what karma is. It doesn't hurry. It waits. And when it arrives, it doesn't always take revenge through violence or hate. Sometimes, it simply balances the scales. Now, years later, I live a peaceful life. I have everything I ever wanted. I travel, I run my business, I mentor young designers, and I wake up every day grateful for the pain that once almost destroyed me. Because that pain was my turning point. Without it, I would have never found my strength or success. If there's one thing I learned, it's that revenge doesn't have to be cruel. The best revenge is living so well that those who tried to destroy you can't recognize the person you've become. You don't have to fight them. You just have to rise higher than they ever expected. Sometimes I still think about that young version of me who cried in bed, wondering how she would survive. I wish I could tell her, "You will. Not only will you survive, you'll thrive. You'll become someone they can never hurt again." And that, more than anything, is how karma paid me back, in gold. My story isn't just about betrayal. It's about patience, resilience, and the quiet strength of a woman who refused to stay broken. When my husband ran off with my sister, I thought it was the end of my story. I was wrong. It was the beginning of the best chapter of my life. 15 years later, I realized something powerful. Life always keeps score. And when the time is right, it gives you exactly what you deserve.